Welcome to For Love and Play. I'm matchmaker comic Yael Meisel. With me is comedians Keenan Weaver and Louie B. For Love and Play, the show about dating like a goddamn adult. We're going to discuss who to spend your time with for love or for play. Let's do it, boys.
This show contains adult content for entertainment purposes. Listener discretion is advised.
Not a doctor.
All right, we're back with another For Love and Play. I'm your host, Keenan, here with my favorite people, the Queen, Yael. What's going on, girl?
Happy 4th of July. Yay, America's birthday. I'm great. How are you?
We're doing good. Fireworks is in the air, and Louie B is setting them off with all the sparks. What's going on, man? That sounded very exciting.
I'm all fireworked out. Yael's kids beat the crap out of me.
They did.
There's a picture on Yael's Facebook right now, and you can just see me in the background sitting like
Children
a sack.
won today.
Yeah, sitting like a complete sack of shit. So, take it away, Keenan.
Well, I'm having a much better day. I was kids free today.
Sure.
Yesterday, I was with some kids, had my little baby cousins, hanging out with the family. But yeah, today was more about doing adult stuff. I actually took an L this weekend. My Memorial Day weekend was way better than 4th of July. But that's not the topic of the show today. I'll talk about my L later. Today we're talking about Kryptonite Relationships. Recognizing those people that are just kryptonite in your life. But before we get into all of that, Louie, tell the people how they can join in on the conversation.
This is what I need you people to do. And we so far only answered one person's question. So, hey guys, if you want some questions, it could stay anonymous. So send your questions to forloveandplay@gmail.com or our Twitter @forloveandplay or through our Facebook fan page, which is facebook.com/forloveandplay. Back to you, Keenan, in the studio.
All right. So last week we kind of touched on this, and that's why I wanted to talk about it, where we recognize that there are certain people that keep coming back in our lives that we think is good for us, but might not be that good for us. And being the geek that Louie and I are, we want to let you know just how these different people are like kryptonite in your life.
I know nothing about that, Keenan.
You don't, so sit back, let me and Louie school you on all the versions of kryptonite, and then we'll bring you back in, Yael.
Yes.
So, Yael, Superman is a great character who's not of this planet.
No.
That is true.
And he gains his strength from the yellow sun.
True.
Yes.
Much like myself being the Leo that I am, and I think of myself as royalty for some reason. So, you know.
Quit fucking around, Yael.
Right.
I
just
can
listen.
appreciate
just
it. I get
sit
it.
back and listen.
No. You know.
Sit back and listen. He gains his strength from the yellow sun. All right. That, in the real world, would be your perfect relationship. We're all here trying to find our yellow suns. But in that journey, we come across some things that are not the best for us on this planet.
Right.
And that is kryptonite. Now, there's many versions of kryptonite. Louie, tell them the first one, the main one, the one that everyone should know.
Of course, the green kryptonite, which severely weakens Kryptonians and can even kill them when exposed long enough. This was first introduced in Superman number 61.
All right. Now, that's kind of obvious. We understand that in relationships, we have those people that we know are detrimental to our health, and it's obvious. It's just blatantly obvious. But there's a lot of different kryptonites out there. What's the other one?
Of course, there's the red kryptonite. It severely weakens Kryptonians more so than traditional green kryptonite, but has also known to cause bizarre mood swings and even mutations, which was introduced in Adventure Comics number 252, which is pretty much causes Kryptonians to have a period.
Exactly. They do not think like they normally would do.
No.
I love that analogy. That was actually perfect.
Yep.
And we have those people in our relationships sometimes that just don't bring out the best in us. They actually bring out the worst and kind of change our personality. Not for the better. What's the next kryptonite on our list?
It's, yes, white kryptonite. Hide your flowers, hide your ferns, and hide your cacti too, because this kryptonite is killing all plant life around here. Seriously though, this kills plants. Adventure Comics number 279.
We can move on to another one.
Gold kryptonite. If Superman's afraid of green kryptonite, he better steer clear of this stuff. Gold kryptonite removes superpowers permanently. This was introduced in Adventure Comics number 299.
That's another one. We run into relationships where people tend to just strip us of our talents. We have things that we do very well, and sometimes we get in relationships where they want to suppress that. Call those the oppressors. All right, one more. What's the black kryptonite?
Oh, okay. Well, there was silver kryptonite, but
go for it. If you want to go.
Let's do this. Let's silver kryptonite. This rock gives Superman pretty trippy hallucinations, which means it gets him high. This was introduced in Superman Batman number 49.
All right. If you have relationships where all you do is get high, you can keep those. All right. Next one.
Black kryptonite. It gives Superman soul powers.
Wonderful.
No, I'm just kidding. No, splits a Kryptonian into two entities, good and evil. Hopefully the good side prevails, because an evil Superman is not somebody we'd want flying around our city. This was introduced in Supergirl number 2.
You ever get in those relationships where you kind of have a split personality? You act one way when you're with this person, and you act a totally different way when you're not? That would be the black kryptonite. Now, Yael, you have all the information on the kryptonite. You recognize the people that those kryptonites represent. Do you understand what we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do. I feel like my kryptonite is like is it possible that the colors unify and like rape you as a rainbow? Is that what happens? Like,
yeah.
I don't.
Yeah, well, there are two other types of kryptonite, Keenan, I think we should use.
Go for it.
There's pink kryptonite, which can turn Superman gay. This was introduced in Supergirl Volume 4, number 79.
And that's not a joke. That's great.
No.
That is
and
great.
also Periwinkle kryptonite, and it makes Superman lose all his inhibitions. This was introduced in Superman Family Adventures number 9. And that's
a good one. So, for the purpose of this podcast and the rest of this episode, you people get it. Yeah, I'll get it. We're going to be looking at some major ones. Green kryptonite, where it just kills you. That's the obvious.
Yep.
Red kryptonite, where it changes your mood. Black kryptonite, split personality. And I like that last one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
why did they even have a pink kryptonite?
That was for Pride Week.
Yep.
So, I wanted to bring this conversation up because of what we touched on it with Bradley a little bit last week.
Bradley?
And I explained.
Who is Bradley? I don't even know.
I explained that I am a kryptonite to one of the females in my life, where we keep running into each other, we keep coming back. She definitely has love for me, and I her. But what I do for her is not the best decision for her. And we talked about how do we get rid of those people a little bit, and I was saying that to clarity, people wanted like quote unquote closure. And you talked about a guy that you were talking with, that you reopened the lines of communications. And that's how we got on the topic of her, because she recently reopened the line of communication.
Right.
And we tend to do this. We tend to get into these relationships where, for all intents and purposes, these things seem to be of our world. And that's why I used the kryptonite, because it still comes from the same planet as Superman. So it's something that it's just not going to get away from, and he's also attracted to, for better or worse, right?
Right.
But they all have these different adverse effects for him, where the best person for your relationship is the one that gives you the powers of the yellow sun. And that's what we're all looking for. We're looking for that one that makes us the best. For guys, turns us to Superman. For women, turns us into Superwomen. That's what we're looking for. But we always date all these versions of kryptonites that look like it's something that we want, but it really isn't.
It's very disappointing when it looks like the yellow sun, doesn't it? It's very disappointing, and you find out it was like the fucking black one or the pink one or like a bunch of them scattered together, like getting your ass kicked by Skittles. You know what I mean?
You thought this was a familiar person. You thought this person was of your world. You have a connection. We're
Years.
not saying that the connection is not real.
Years.
We're
Years.
just saying that
There's
this
like
person
years
is
of
not the
history
best
with
one.
this shit.
So, as we were saying in that last episode, the best thing is to try to like really cut this person off. And I'll go deeper into me as her kryptonite, and then I'll give an example of one that I've identified as kryptonite in my life. So first is me. Now, we all know at this point how I am in certain relationships. It's all or nothing for the most part, right? This particular lady, again, like I said, I definitely have been in love with her at one point or another over a course of, I would say, 8 years I've known her. And we've tried relationships. We've had like maybe a solid, we're actually one-on-one. I'm her man. She's my girl for about 2 years, right? And then we'd break up for whatever reason. It would get super toxic. Most of the time it was me pulling away. And then she would just like open the lines of communication again under the guise
Throwing out the life raft. I know. Saving your ass in the middle of the storm full of women and stupid, right?
But under the, like you said in the
like
previous
an angel
podcast,
appearing in a burning bush. There she was. Go ahead, Keenan.
It's not even that. Under the guise of, like you said in the previous podcast, she would open the lines of, well, we can just be friends, right?
Right.
So I'm just checking in on you. I'm seeing how you're doing as a friend. But that friend text quickly escalates to a more than just platonic level. Once we reach that level, there's different expectations where I then start to hurt her feelings.
Damn straight. Because you never evolve into a, like...
I'm not her yellow sun.
You don't evolve into a boyfriend. And after a while, the frustration is just like... Do you know what I'm saying?
For her, I don't evolve
into a boyfriend. Right.
Husband. I've been the boyfriend.
Have you?
Yeah, I've been a good boyfriend, but I can only be a good boyfriend to her for so long because what she wants is the husband.
No.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
And that's the disconnect. I love her enough to be her boyfriend. We don't want the same things as far as this marriage. She has the dream of the white picket fence, kids, da 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 da. Like here's how you know a girl actually loves you is when she talks about like having children, she names them like you. So she would just call them little Keenans. She wants a house in Westchester with little Keenans running around. That's what 100% is what she wants. And I don't want to even live in Westchester.
Oh my God.
I don't. Like, it's just not that.
He hates flowers. I mean, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Right? Like, I don't want any little Keenans. Like, I'm cool with little people, but not little Keenans. You get it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. I would rather be Uncle Louie than Daddy.
But is that genuinely, like, what you want? Like, you don't ever want to be a father?
No, I don't. No, I don't want kids at all.
Okay.
Like,
so
I mean...
Have you gotten into relationships where that was the expectation and that was also the divide?
Well, usually it's never gone that far because usually that's the first question a lot of women ask me when getting to know me is like, do you want kids? And I'm like, no. And then they're like, okay, well, I want someone that wants to start a life. And I'm like, we can have a life. I just don't want kids. But,
and that's an honest deal breaker.
Yeah.
And this is the difference between the different types of kryptonite is because the ones that are not green, you kind of still push for, right? Like you're not aware that that's there. Some of them he actually likes the feeling. Like I remember an episode where he wanted to get the red kryptonite because he liked not having that inhibition of caring about earthlings for the most part. That's like, that was that. So, Yael, let us know about your similar, like, I think.
Okay.
We've earlier in the podcast, a few months ago, I said, I identified this relationship. We didn't have the term kryptonite at the time, but I identified this relationship with you as someone that you 100% equivocally need to stay away from.
Correct.
You
Amazing person. He's not. Hold on. Let's just level the playing field really quickly.
Yep.
He's not a criminal. He's good looking. He is successful. He is smart. He is amazing at everything he does. He is not a bad person. He is not in love enough with me. There is something in his heart that he is not sold on. There's some in that, like, our conversations around breaking up are touching on. I mean, how terrible is this? I mean, can you imagine having to break up with me? With me, of all people, not Heather, not Stacey, not Jennifer, not Hillary, me. That must be awful. Because you have to spit the truth. You gotta tell the truth. I see through the bullshit. I smell it a mile away. So, I will give credit where credit is due. This was not a one-night stand. I've known this guy for several years. We know each other very well. We know each other to take things to the next level. And when we had Frank, I can't think of his name, in the beginning of the show, or back in the winter, we had Frank Esquez, is that his name?
Enzanique.
Enzanique on the show. And I said to him, I don't think dating him, he'll love me no more in 6 months than he does today. And he was like, you're absolutely right. That is true. That relationship did end. What happened was...
let's before you get into that, I want to touch on that real emotion up there.
Yeah.
Because this is something that I think listeners will love to point out and can get value from. Because you said that. You said it in a podcast. You are definitely aware of the situation of he's not going to love you in 6 months than he does now. More in 6 months than he does now. Right?
Yeah,
you were aware of that.
Very much so, yes.
But your feelings wanted something other than that.
Oh my God. He was one of these people that, I irrationally loved him. Now the good news is, the difference between me and maybe Heather or Stacey is that I know that that's irrational. Like, it's not sensible. You know what I'm saying? It then became sensible as I got to know him. But like, the initial jolt was very like, you know what I mean? Which was very different for me.
Right. Cause that's the most difficult part. It's the reason these people are so detrimental to us, because on the surface, everything looks peachy.
Girls fall in love every week. I fall in love a few times in my life. You know what I'm saying? It's so rare. It's like, what's rarer than a diamond? It's that. You know what I'm saying? I don't. It's, how many times have I been in love in the 2 years that you've known me, Keenan? Seriously.
I mean, I get that, but this one keeps popping.
Every other woman, how many times has she fallen in love in the last 24 months?
About 24 times.
Thank you, Louie. You're correct. 24 times. Me,
actually, no. Divide that by 2, so 48 times.
Right. God bless him. Right, Louie the Weekend. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. And then the boy you met on Tinder. Oh, Jesus Christ. in this year, okay, I've had some epiphany, like huge things go on. I've had the downfall of somebody that, not like the little Keenans. Oh my God. Like, I have 2 children with a marriage that, again, one time that I was in love with someone amazing and made a rash decision after the breakup and started dating my ex-husband. I hate to say it, but I married a rebound relationship. It never should have happened. We never should have crossed the boundary of friendship into section. That never should have happened. My ex-husband it's a lost friendship. It's not a lost love. I wish him well. Like, really, that relationship on an I love you man-woman level, and this was my husband, I have children with this man, like, it wasn't even deep enough to be that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, my best friend and I made a mistake and thought we were in love and we weren't, and now, you know what I'm saying? We fucked up our friendship. Right.
What kryptonite would you classify your ex-husband?
Pink.
Oh, pink. Yeah, rose-colored glasses. Shit's gonna be fine when the building is burning down. Yeah. Yep. I had never been broke. Can I just say, get out your violins. No one cares about my sad stories. But when I was 26, I had no money for the first time in my entire adult life. Ever. I'm saying I was never broke. Never. And then boom, there it was. I lost my shit. My house burned down. My business went to hell, and I literally did flip out and break up with my great boyfriend. Rose-colored glasses. Oh, things are going to be fine. Nope. I told someone today a man is not a plan. She flipped out at me. It's not. This was the one time in my life, my divorce from my children's father, where I saw a man is not a plan. Not at all.
I like that. That's off topic, but what do you mean expand on a man is not a plan? Like
No, I'm saying it is kryptonite. It's kryptonite that throws intelligent women off, where you have brilliant women who have relationships with comparable people, and then something happens. Rose-colored glasses. They pick the pink kryptonite. I really, you know what I'm saying? Everything's gonna be fine. Oh, I love you. Like, what? This is a horse shit relationship that in your right mind you'd never be a part of.
So, I wanna flip the script. I explained in a relationship in where I am her kryptonite. But I've also identified a relationship that I have always wanted, but never could hold on to. And it's because she is my kryptonite.
So, boyfriend that I just ended things with yet again was the person that I would want to have done all of the ex-husband things with. That would be the person I would want to have had all of those experiences with.
Right.
That would have been him. That would have been the one. I'm saying even as far as I would love my children to be like you. That would have been it.
Except for...
He doesn't love me back.
Right.
So, this is so odd though. I'm almost glad this happened. I really am. I have a wicked crush on somebody. You guys know I like him European, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there is a Jew in the EU that I've had the hots for. Like, I've never, in my life. I've only had a crush like this one other time when I was 13 years old.
Is he still part of the EU?
He is. He's in the EU.
Oh, so he didn't Brexit.
Yeah, I was just checking. All right, go on.
But I'm saying, I'm almost like, this is so ridiculous. Pull yourself together. Like, you're a grown woman. But I just feel like I really like this person. So, my ex-boyfriend and I were in touch for various reasons, work-related things. And I lit Shabbat candles, and I just said, I hope for prosperity, and I know that he's struggling in a relationship right now with someone who's not so nice. Really, not even in a sexual vibe. And he showed up at my door, and we ended up spending the night together, and he met my children for the first time, and I was like, oh my God, I like this person floating over in Europe, and I'm praying for your well-being as your friend, and, your ex-girlfriend, but really primary your friend. You show up at my door, wow, unhappy, really unhappy in your relationship. He's making a commitment to a person who is mean. He's making a commitment to a woman who's doing something on some level of chemistry. It is not actually emotionally loving him, because this is not a situation where he's being loved unselfishly or unconditionally. So what did he do? He knocked on the door of unconditional love. I can't believe he did that to me, but it was almost a blessing that he did.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Now I know that if I like somebody else floating in Europe or a broker and, you know what I'm saying, in the city, or half of the French and New York City Jewish nightlife, I'm saying these crushes are okay, because out of everybody in the world who I don't know if they're the person I'm supposed to be with, I can definitely tell you this man is not. I have full clarity. He basically came to me to be to be loved properly, to go deal with the shit that he's dealing with in a bad partner. And I said to him when we were arguing about this, would you tell the police they're not properly investigating a crime? Do you think you can investigate a crime better than the police? No. Then why do you think I can give clarity into any relationship better than you can? I've been doing this for so long. I know your problem, because while I love you independent of all of these things, I've seen your problem in about 1 million people throughout the world. And now comes September, the 13 years I've done this. And now we're in our second season of having a show about this. You think I can't diagnose a relationship problem when I see one? I said, you're a cheating husband. You either need to marry someone compatible for real, stop lying to yourself. You're going to cheat on your wife the rest of your life, and you're going to hate yourself for it. That's the type of life you're okay with.
Okay, so
Closure.
so put yourself in that wife's shoes, and you just touted all this experience and whatnot, which I think is a perfect segue. How can one go about identifying these potential kryptonite relationships?
You have to accept the truth. Give yourself a time limit and stick to it. That when I say, people always misconstrue when I say don't give someone more than 365 days of your time. Don't. Because how long have I known this gentleman? We are now teetering in 3 years. We are no more together 3 years after the fact than we were. Do you know what I'm saying? We did not need to keep returning this rock over. It didn't need to happen.
Returning the rock over. I think that's...
Keep driving past the old house.
Let me finish. I think that's the first sign. Relationships that are on and off again.
For 3 years?
For whatever length of time. On and off again. Outside of this dude went to service or she went to service to serve her country.
No one went to serve their country.
Right? Mm-hmm. Outside of that. Where most of those don't even go off and on. They're really in the committed relationship.
Yeah, they're usually really solid and good. They're on talk shows. They're fucking rocking.
I'm even going to scratch that. There's no on and off relationship. If you are in an on and off relationship with anybody, like 8 years, 3 years, 2 years, we've been on and off for 2 years, 1 year, whatever that means, that is a number one sign this could be kryptonite.
I feel like it was almost, I felt so silly. I was like, oh my gosh, I like this other person floating in the EU so much. It's silly. It's silly. It's silly. It's silly. I haven't liked 13. I have not liked this. I've not liked a boy since John DeFrancesco in the fucking 8th grade, since this gentleman in the EU.
Hashtag John DeFrancesco.
I'm saying, shouts out to Johnny D in San Francisco. God bless you.
Yes.
I'm saying, since this individual, never in my life, not the father of my children, not the other times I ever thought I loved somebody. I'm saying, I don't love this person. That really would be irrational. I have an interest here that I'm saying, I've only had a crush like this one other time. And I'm feeling, that's silly. You're a child. You're ridiculous. You know what I mean? You're letting the silliness of the lack of professionalism we've seen in comedy spill over onto you.
Well, yeah, that's not completely true. You have a crush on comedian Bobcat Goldthwait.
Who?
Bobcat Goldthwait.
I don't even know who that is. I mean, there are some comics that I think are dead sexy, but I'm saying, like, a crush, like, oh.
But see, so you're similar to me in that
it's so hard to get and keep our attention, isn't it?
Right.
And this person, I've shouted him with the he doesn't get it. You're so rare. You're not common, dude. You're not common.
The thing is,
but my children or people I make money with get that attention. You're getting it for nothing without asking.
The thing is, you get those infatuating feelings so rarely.
Right.
When it happens, it's kind of accurate.
And then when it's me and all my sparkly goodness, you know.
You really are sparkly. Like, you know,
I'm saying it doesn't, for me, these feelings are so uncommon. So, to feel silly about that irrational crush, like, oh, you're so sexy, smart, and brilliant, like, oh, I bet you have a big IQ and EQ. Oh my God, I want to fuck you. And then, like, knock, knock, man you love is at the door. Hi, I'm here with laundry and tears, and I want to sleep in your bed and hold you and tell you I love you all night long, and make breakfast for your children. And you know what I'm saying? That threw me back into my life and made me, like, realize, oh my God. And then I feel like almost like, thank God you're here to stabilize so this works. Okay, so this can work out. And then I know that, like, lusting after this is silly. It's a schoolgirl thing that I'm doing.
You're also left with the pain of dealing with quote unquote wasted time, dealing with these feelings. I think the worst thing is when you have feelings for something that you thought was so right, and then you find out that it's very wrong. And I think that's one of the most painful things to work through, is that you had such strong feelings for One Direction, not the music group, and then you had to the realization that was just the wrong direction. And now you're kind of like, it tears you apart. It's like you were going left, and then quickly you're snapped right.
Right.
Torn apart. Louis, let's get Louis in this, because I know he has, I want you to pick a color kryptonite, and then tell me a story about it.
Automatically green.
Okay.
Green.
So you've been in a relationship where you're saying that you would rather, off bat, green hurts you. Right?
Oh, we're talking about that? Oh,
instantly.
wait. Okay, no, I didn't understand the question. I thought like which kryptonite ass relationship I have ever had that's hurt me.
Right. So what I'm saying is the green one should be the one that's easiest to avoid, because we automatically feel that this is bad, right? Superman automatically feels that he has to get away from green kryptonite.
Yeah.
Other ones, it's not so obvious. Right?
Well, yeah,
so
okay.
I want you to pick one using our analogy, and then tell a story that fits that kryptonite.
Damn, that's a good one. Okay, I would have to say yellow.
Okay, for the people, recap.
Oh, the gold.
For the people, recap those symptoms.
The gold is basically all your superpowers are gone.
Okay. Now explain the relationship that you were in. How that happened.
Well, actually, this is something I'm currently. Well, it's not really a relationship. It's someone I'm talking to.
Okay.
And you know who I'm talking. Well, you know who I'm talking about, because I sent you her picture.
For a vagina, you know how many vaginas we've never seen that have caused this boy so much trouble? I want to punch bitches left and right. Seriously.
At least show me a vagina, so that way you have
It's like when no one's fucking this bitch and she's causing this much trouble. What? Like my inner Lucario comes out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out to Lucario. Like, I'm serious.
Yeah, we gotta have him back on.
You gotta have him back on.
Yeah.
That man is important to humanity and common sense.
Okay.
That's
all right.
something.
So him saying that you know her wasn't to interject and take over the story. Louis, continue.
Okay, well, I was talking about someone completely different, but let's talk about that person. We hung out a lot. And that's all, she was doing the whole yo-yo thing. Like, we should only be friends. Okay, so fine. Let's be friends. Oh, that girl looks cute. Oh, how can you wanna be with me and look at other girls? I'm like, you just said you wanted to be friends. And then, now all of a sudden, stop talking to me, this, that, and the other. Okay, fine, I won't talk to you. Ring. Oh, hey, this is the reason why we can't be together. You're a loser because you don't have this, that, and the other thing. Okay, leave me alone. And now it's, oh, you're stalking me.
So, what made you continue to pursue someone that says...
Because Keenan, let's just say, and by the way, the cape is still available for you, if I could refer back to that,
I'll talk about my L's, but I've never put on a cape.
No, if I could refer back to the astrology, the horoscope episode we had. Yes. So, I had Captain Save-Hoitis. If I could name it that. Like, cause I thought if I was there for her, if I was patient, if I showed that I gave a fuck and not just tried to, not just about trying to have sex with her.
Amen.
It would form something real, something deep, because you know what? I guess I have sort of a female mentality when it comes to dating.
Which is not a problem.
You would think it wouldn't be.
The problem is not recognizing when to get away from the kryptonite.
Well, yeah, I knew it was toxic, but I thought I didn't want to like seem like I was quitting too early, that this was just a test.
So up top, you said this was the gold kryptonite.
Yeah.
And that's the one that strips your power. So why? See, to me, I was thinking you were going to tell a story about like this girl who really likes you, or you really like, but she didn't want you to be a comic. or something like that's what I feel like.
Well, it stripped me of my intuition. It made me second guess myself.
Got it. Because your superpower, as you always like to tout, is detecting bullshit.
Yeah.
But you couldn't do that in this one, is what you're
Well,
saying.
no, work on your self-love.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like shining a flashlight in your own eyes. You have to turn the flashlight around, then you can see. You shine it in your face, you don't see nothing.
Yeah.
I have the same problem.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to be that guy that I didn't want it to look like, oh, well, she doesn't want to fuck me. Fuck this. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't want to look shallow.
You know, I feel like I know Louis so well. I mean,
yes, dear.
I can almost, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm saying this is just a guess. Like, I would almost imagine, because you're genuinely in every situation, he's the first person like, oh, you're going to find problems with nonsense here, here, and here. Like, I think you instinctually knew this was a waste of time, but much like my situation with boy that shows up with his heart in his hand on Shabbat, you know what I'm saying? As I pray for your well, when we instinctually know this person is full of shit, there's that hope because for some reason I cared about you for so long that I'm going to hold on to this like beacon glimmer of hope that there's a good person in this asshole. You know what I mean? That I instinctually knew was here.
Mm-hmm. You
know what I'm saying? I feel like you had to learn about patience to deal with this woman.
Yeah.
And you did.
And I also learned I had a fucking limit, and that's when it's like.
That's when reality.
That's when Louis do some dumb shit.
I'm saying instead of walking away, which I think you would do now, I don't think it would ever escalate to this point ever.
Oh, no.
You had to learn so hard
yeah.
with this awful situation that if this happened again, you would never get to the point where you start acting outside of yourself because you've never been exposed to this level of stupid with such little in return.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, because I like now if I sense something's not gonna go right or I'm just not going to it's not gonna get nowhere, I just walk away. Or if it's something I really if it's a situation I don't want to deal with, like case in point, my father tried to hook me up with a woman who was 45 with 2 kids. And I don't want to be a single father. I mean, a single father. I don't want to be a stepfather.
All right.
She's already leaving you.
And plus, when we were getting to know each other, cause at the time, like, I went against my better judgment or my inner, my personal rules. And I started trying to get to know her, and she was giving me these one-word answers. I tell you what, after 5 minutes, I cut that conversation off.
Okay, so I want to challenge you.
Yeah, all right.
To really increase your self-awareness. I want to challenge you to look deep within yourself and answer this question. Have you really learned from that experience to where you can identify potential problems, or are you completely gone the opposite direction in fear of that experience and now running away from anything that has a hint of that?
I think I'm running away from anything that has a hint of it now.
And I agree. That's why I asked, but not everybody is honest of that. And that's one of the biggest problems that we get when we bounce from relationship to relationship, is sometimes there are situations that were so traumatic that it then blocks us from that yellow sun that we were supposed to be getting. Because we then are now so fearful of that happening that we just don't want that to happen again.
Yeah.
God,
Even though there might be similarities that you could have overcome to get to that, but because of the fear is so strong, that fear is so deeply rooted, we block our potential. And that's the struggle. It's something honest. I honestly don't have an answer of how to defeat that other than at least that you're aware. And that's a good step.
Yeah. I mean, it's just at this point, like, especially with how shitty the situation is that I'm still having to deal with that person. Like, I'm not trying to have another similar situation like that. So, like, now I have certain other rules in place now where I probably won't date, probably won't date someone in a certain community, or, you know, so I'll stay, I just won't even bother. So I do preemptive friend zonings.
But see, that's my point. So because something happened in this adverse community, now we're not going to talk to anyone from this community. When that has nothing to do with it, what happened in that situation has nothing to do with the community. It has everything to do with her.
Right.
And we got to somehow recognize individual relationships. And I'm glad that this kind of turned this way, because that's like the next step. It's like, all right, well, we've identified these kryptonites, so now I'm running from anything that looks Kryptonian or anything that and that's not good at either. Because now you get into this, it's kind of like this abyss where you're just stuck in running from one thing. It's almost like that same relationship is still plaguing you. Like that was the point of when we were talking with Bradley. You kind of, when we were saying, well, you kind of want closure. Closure is bullshit. Closure just means you're not over whatever that last thing was. And this is your way of rationalizing with your own brain that I am over it, but I just want to know why I should be over it. When you're over it, you don't care. When you're truly over something, you don't give off what the reason was.
Don't.
You're
right.
just over it now. And
honestly, though, Keenan, the situation with this dude, I feel like I'm finally there for the first time ever.
Okay.
Really. I actually don't need to hear from this. Really. Why?
I want you to then explain the feeling of, like what's the difference? What's the difference of now? Just opposed to you being very aware of it.
I'm no different.
You were aware of that his love wasn't going to grow in 6 months. You were aware of that. But there was still something in you that felt that you could spark or rekindle or open lines of communications. And then now today you're saying, I finally am aware that this shit is done. This shit is bad for me. I am going to try to avoid this as much as I can. I want you to talk about that delta in the middle. What are the real feelings that you go through from point A to point B? Because
he wanted to steal, I feel like, a moment with me on his time when, you know what I'm saying?
Right. But what was that moment? Like, how is that, how do you come to that realization?
3 years he never met my children.
Okay.
Last time I saw him, he did.
And that in you sparked back possibility.
I'm saying I feel like he wanted to play house with me for a day. I feel like, kind of.
Okay, so he wanted to just do that for a day, but not...
Right.
While you were thinking this is the introduction to not for just a day, but maybe weeks.
Maybe. He
wanted the Costco sample.
Maybe, right. Like, maybe all of those, maybe all of that, you know, all that hope. You know what I'm saying, Louis? Like, all the hope for all the time, and all the whatever, all the hope. And, like, again, going through some transitions, whatever, like, private life is private, whatever. But I literally pray for all of my friends, especially Friday night. I light candles. It's like, all of you. I mention to the light of the universe what your struggles are. I'm serious. I really do. If I'm aware of something you're doing that you're struggling with, I literally do pray for all of my friends. It's like sometimes it's even like a 35-minute, 45-minute meditative state. It's like a holy time for me. So I actually, I felt this way for a very long time. Again, otherwise not a bad person, loves his parents, pays his taxes, you know what I mean? Good American, loves, good person, otherwise, but
He's not a fuckboy on paper, but he's a fuckboy.
No, we get it, and we want to make this clear. The whole conversation.
He's not a bad guy. This is not a bad guy. You'd respect him otherwise. Your friend Stacy brought him home. You'd like him.
The one.
Who's Stacy?
The whole conversation is about recognizing that there's people that we think are the one. Everything is good, except for that they are bad for us.
Right.
That's what it is.
This person is treating you like a lesson. Essentially, this person is treating you like a drug they can't stay off of when you think about it. Some people, their drug of choice could be cocaine. Some people, it could be, alcohol, whatever it is. For other people, it's, I'm going to indulge in like my lustful fantasy with a woman that I love for this and this reason, but for whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's the same idea. This is a person, I hate to say it, unless he marries honestly. I'm saying whether anybody, not anybody. If they don't marry honestly, they will not stay monogamous and faithful. They won't. That's the pattern. Not my opinion. That's just how it is. I am not going to facilitate that karma with you as being a cheater. No way. Don't drag me into that.
Alrighty.
Here's the thing that it kind of loops back to when we identified Louis' fear of moving forward because of something else. So now we built all these rules. And you mentioned the astrology episode. Was it astrology?
Yeah.
Right.
Horoscope astrology episode.
You mentioned the astrology episode that we had.
Yeah.
And something that the young lady told to me. And one of the things she told me was, because of my sign, I have like a half human, half beast personality, which, as I said earlier, definitely identifies with me being a type of kryptonite in a lot of relationships, because depending on who you are, you get either the beast or the human, right? That's kind of like how she broke it down. And I've noticed, I went for a very long period of time, like maybe 2-3 years, where it wasn't explained to me that way. I wasn't necessarily aware of that exact, quote unquote science to it, but I was aware that most of the relationships I got into, I was just not the right like I was just hurting people rather than helping. So I took that rational fear, like Louis, and built all these rules and things of that nature, where I just completely stopped dating. I went through a phase like, I'm just not a relationship person. So I'm not going to date because I don't want to hurt these women. That was my reaction to it. And it's like, it's on both sides of these coins. Everything is just about being really aware of what gives you strength, what makes you a better person, and what is more detrimental to you than what you can see in front of you.
It's so funny that you said that. Like, the dude floating, hovering in the EU, the irrational crush, not comparable to the, childhood. The last opportunity I would have had to see him, I was like so freaked out because I liked him so much that, wouldn't you know, a person I had dated also was in town and for a day, and there was like safety and I wasn't even supposed to go out, and at the last minute, like, I was picked up, like, hey, I'm into, like, alright, and I was also this is when we broke up with bad decision, we just, forever. So, like, I was raw from that. Ex-boyfriend was in town, and I liked someone. I have a huge crush on this person. So I saw ex-boyfriend, and ex-boyfriend even said to me, he was like, I understand that you're sad. Like, you technically could have gone out with someone else tonight. He's like, I almost wish you did. He's like, this dude that you're in love with, he's not big enough to love you. He's like, this dude that you have a crush on, he's definitely big enough to love you. I got it. He goes, baby, I almost wish you had told me this before. He's like, I feel like I fucked with fate now. He's like, oh God, I fed into this. Like, I knew you needed me. I felt you were in pain. I'm in town. I come to save you. He goes, I shouldn't have saved you tonight. You should be in this dude's arms, not mine. He's big enough to love you. This dude that you're sad about, he's not big enough. He's like, I get it. He's a good guy. He's like, you need a balance of the both of us, but like, he's not capable. He's like, he's in awe of you. He's like, I'm big enough to love you. I can stand you. I love your personality. You will eat him alive and outshine in everything he does. He goes, this dude you like, He's like, and even I'm thinking to myself, we have this open dialogue, like, you know what I mean? Like a pillow talk, like we're best friends at pillow talk. You're telling me what I need, and God bless you, you're so right. Like, you're so right. I should have. He's like, no, when he comes back to this country, he goes, you make it up to me. He's like, do it. He's like, I said, do you think I should? He goes, yeah. He goes, this was a mistake. He goes, I feel like I cut into something that was important. He's like, shit, I'm so sorry. I literally felt you in pain. I ran to your aid. You should have ran to the arms of this dude. I feel so bad. As soon as he's back on U.S. soil, he's like, you need to do everything right. It's like, okay.
Well,
and then he got sick and disappeared.
Yeah, I think sometimes, I think it comes with maturity. Like, some people just understand when they're not right for someone. But
they love them anyway on some level. And I think that's what
that's what it
Max
is.
and I have. A deeper understanding of what love is.
Right. And how it should be available.
But isn't that I feel like that's both good and bad. But that also means that I have a wisdom to how I love somebody. I see your soul, you know what I'm saying? That I could discuss an emotional outburst, like in a romantic setting with you. I feel like that's the way it should be. There should be that level of casual and like comfort. I feel like if you don't have that, why are you there?
Yeah. I mean, it's figuring out that perfect balance of, like you said, casual comfort, but also that there is no journey in life without road bumps. So if the person is willing to go over them with you, that's when you know. But if there's too many speed bumps to get to the relationship, it might mean that you're on the wrong road.
Right. It's kind of like one is your dude and like one is like, well, not your boyfriend. He's your homie. You know what I'm saying? And you're cool with that. It's when you're not cool with it that can't exist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think we can wrap it up there. Anything to promote?
We still have 10% off at Foria Pleasure with our promo code for Love and Play. Please continue to like, share, download, subscribe on For Love and Play. Follow me, Yael Meisels, and stay tuned follow me on Facebook. I will have some stand-up shit coming out soon. I will be back on stage, and I am going to post that shit soon. You got to follow so you can follow me into the comedy club and hear me talk shit about how I think we're maybe in the Judaic Messianic time. I've decided to bring creativity back to storytelling, and I'm going to try my hand at some theories. That's all I got going on.
I just want to tell you, Yael, that I have a new Kardashian joke.
Stop it! Really?
That is like perfect for your bit, but
I love them. I want them to be my friends.
It's hilarious. I'm working on it. I never even cared to talk about them, but
Please,
this one involves.
I want them to be my friends. I feel like we would get along. I'm funny.
You can continue to put your ad out to them later.
Yeah.
Louie, what you got?
As always, you guys can follow my personal radio show, the Crotch Shot Radio Show, hosted by me. You can follow me on the iTunes, Spreaker, Spreaker.com. We got iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio. This next episode, I'm going to be interviewing a gentleman who has a documentary coming out about people who are serving life for marijuana offenses. So, yes, we're gonna have a gentleman who has that documentary coming out. So, subscribe and listen, or you could follow me on my fan page, Louis B Comedy, and you'll get a notification when I'm doing the show live. Wherein you could call in and interact and chat and have a fun time with the peoples. So, yeah, take it away, Keenan.
We're actually changing our format to be something similar like that, where we're gonna announce that you can catch us live, so look out for that.
Woo!
But in the meantime, if you want to see Keenan do his solo thing, all my information is on my website, www.keenanweaver.com. That's KENANWEAVER. So, check it out. And as always, keep loving, keep playing.